I woke up to the sound of my 3-year-old daughter, Lily, jumping on the bed. "Daddy, wake up. I'm hungry," she squealed, her tiny hands patting my face. Blinking the sleep from my eyes, I glanced at the clock. 7:12 a.m. The sun was streaming through the curtains and there was a strange silence in the house. Normally, my wife, Emily, would be up before me, already preparing breakfast or scrolling through her phone at the kitchen counter. But the other side of the bed was empty. "Where's Mommy?" I asked, running a hand through my hair. Lily just shrugged. "Don't know." Something felt off. I sat up and grabbed my phone. No messages, no missed calls. Maybe she had gone out early for groceries? But that didn't make sense. She always let me know if she was leaving, especially with the kids still at home. I picked up my son, Noah, from his crib and carried him downstairs with Lily trailing behind me. The house was eerily quiet. No coffee brewing, no signs of Emily. The usual mess of toys in the living room was untouched from last night. I checked the kitchen. No note. No empty coffee cup. Then I noticed something odd. The car keys. Emily's car was gone, but her keys were still on the kitchen counter. My stomach tightened. I pulled out my phone again and dialed her number. Straight to voicemail. A sinking feeling settled in my chest. Where was she? And why didn't I know anything about it? I tried to shake off the unease gnawing at me. Maybe Emily had stepped out with a friend and left in an Uber? Maybe she had an early appointment she forgot to mention? I fed the kids, keeping an eye on my phone, waiting for a text, a call, anything. But nothing came. By 9 a.m. I couldn't take it anymore. I dialed her sister, Rachel. "Hey, Sam," she answered, sounding groggy. "What's up? Is Emily with you?" There was a pause. A too long pause. Then, why would she be? I swallowed. She's not here. I woke up and she was just gone. Another pause. Hold on. I heard rustling, then her voice muffled as if she was covering the phone. A few seconds later, she was back. "Look, Sam, I don't know where she is." The hesitation in her voice sent a chill through me. "You're lying," I said quietly. Rachel sighed. "I have to go." The line went dead. I stared at my phone, my mind racing. Rachel knew something. But why wasn't she telling me? And then, as I lowered my phone, my eyes landed on something near the front door, something I hadn't noticed before. An envelope. It was propped against the table with my name written in Emily's handwriting. My heart pounded as I reached for it, my fingers trembling. Whatever was inside, I had a feeling it was about to change everything. I picked up the envelope, my fingers suddenly cold. It was just a plain white envelope, no decorations, no embellishments, just my name in Emily's neat, slanted handwriting. Lily tugged at my sleeve. "Daddy, what's that?" "Just a note from Mommy," I said, forcing a smile. "Go play with your brother, sweetheart. I'll be right there." She hesitated but eventually skipped off, leaving me alone in the quiet hallway. Taking a deep breath, I opened the envelope and pulled out a single sheet of paper. It was short. Too short. That was it. No explanation. No, "I love you." No promise to return. Just take care of the kids. My hands tightened around the paper. Something wasn't right. Emily wasn't the kind of person to just leave. She loved the kids. She was careful, methodical, always planning ahead. She wouldn't disappear overnight without so much as a mention of when or if she was coming back. I looked around the house again, trying to see it through fresh eyes. Her shoes weren't by the door. Her coat was still in the closet. Her purse was missing, but her wallet and ID were on the kitchen counter. Something about this wasn't just strange. It was wrong. And Rachel, why had she been so hesitant on the phone? A terrible thought crept into my mind. What if Emily hadn't just left? What if she had been taken? I read the note again, hoping I had missed something, some hidden meaning between the lines, some clue that would tell me where Emily had gone. But it was just those cold, distant words. I needed answers. I grabbed my phone and called Emily's best friend, Megan. If anyone knew something, it would be her. The call rang twice before she picked up. "Sam." She sounded surprised. Maybe even nervous. "Megan, is Emily with you?" Silence. Then, "Sam, I don't think I should be involved in this." I felt my grip on the phone tighten. "Involved in what?" More silence. "Megan," I said, forcing my voice to stay calm, "I woke up this morning and my wife was gone. She left a note telling me not to call her, not to look for her. She didn't take her ID, she didn't take her car, and she's not answering her phone. So please, if you know anything, tell me." A sharp exhale. "Look, Sam, I can't talk right now." She hung up. I stared at my phone, my heart pounding. Rachel was acting strange. Now Megan was acting strange. They knew something, and they didn't want me to find out. I turned to check on Lily and Noah, who were now sitting on the floor stacking blocks. My stomach twisted as I watched them play, unaware that their mother had vanished without a trace. I needed to keep them safe. I needed to know the truth. And if no one was going to tell me willingly, I'd find out myself. I put the letter down, my mind racing. If Rachel and Megan wouldn't talk, I had to find another way to figure out where Emily had gone. I opened my laptop and logged into our shared bank account. If she had booked a flight or a hotel, there would be a record of it. But as I scrolled through the transactions, my stomach dropped. The last charge Emily had made was 3 days ago, just a grocery run. Nothing after that. No airline tickets, no hotel bookings, no unusual withdrawals. It was like she had vanished without spending a dime. That didn't make sense. I clicked over to our phone account, checking her call logs. Maybe she had called someone before she left? No outgoing calls after last night. I clenched my jaw. If she hadn't used her bank cards, and she hadn't called anyone, then how had she left? And more importantly, with whose help? I switched to her email. We didn't keep secrets, at least I thought we didn't, so we knew each other's passwords. I typed hers in. Incorrect. Frowning, I tried again. Incorrect. My stomach tightened. Emily had changed her password. She had planned this. I closed my laptop and leaned back, exhaling slowly. Megan knew something. Rachel knew something. And Emily had been careful. Too careful. This wasn't just my wife leaving for some time away. This was something bigger. Something I wasn't supposed to find out. And I was going to find out anyway. A restless energy coursed through me. Something about Emily's disappearance felt too deliberate, too precise. She wasn't just taking a break. She had erased her tracks with intention. I searched for any trace of her plans. Her laptop was locked behind a new password, a change I hadn't anticipated. It meant she had prepared for this. She hadn't wanted me to access her files, her messages, anything that might reveal where she had gone. Then I remembered the old tablet she had been using last week. Digging through the nightstand, I found it. The screen lit up without a password, and an unfamiliar email account was still logged in. The username was a random string of letters and numbers, nothing that resembled the accounts she typically used. Scrolling through the inbox, a recent email caught my attention. The subject line read, "Final confirmation." The message was brief, impersonal. It stated that her reservation had been confirmed. A driver had been arranged to pick her up at 12:30 a.m. The instructions were clear. No personal belongings with trackers. A chill ran through me. This wasn't a spontaneous getaway. She had orchestrated this carefully, ensuring she couldn't be followed. Checking the sent folder, another email stood out. She had written to the same private sender. The message was short, just one line. "He doesn't know. Just make sure it stays that way." My pulse pounded. Emily had planned to disappear, and someone had helped her do it. The words on the screen felt heavier with every passing second. Emily had been planning this for longer than I realized, covering her tracks so well that I almost missed it. I scrolled further through the inbox, searching for more details. The emails were sparse, most of them deleted, but a few traces remained, brief confirmations, vague responses. No names, no specific locations. Whoever she was in contact with had been careful. In the drafts folder, I found an unfinished message. It looked like she had typed it out but never sent it. I keep thinking about whether this is the right decision. I don't want them to get hurt, but I can't stay. I need to go through with it. The words sent a shiver through me. Them. She wasn't talking about me. She meant the kids. Had she left to protect them? From what? I needed more. I checked the browsing history, but it had been wiped clean. Still, a few autofill suggestions remained. When I typed a single letter into the search bar, results popped up. Half-formed searches, lingering ghosts of whatever she had been looking into before she left. One stood out. Private transportation. No ID required. Emily had arranged to leave without a trace, avoiding flights, trains, anything that could tie her to a location. This was more than just running away. This was escape. From what or from who I still didn't know. But I was going to find out. The house felt different now. Emptier, quieter, despite the distant sounds of Lily and Noah playing in the next room. I sat on the edge of the bed, gripping the tablet in my hands, staring at Emily's unsent message. I keep thinking about whether this is the right decision. I don't want them to get hurt, but I can't stay. I need to go through with it. The words played over and over in my mind. She hadn't left me. She had left us. And it wasn't just some impulsive decision. This was planned, calculated. The secrecy, the private driver, the insistence on avoiding trackers. I needed to stop assuming she had simply abandoned us. She had disappeared because she had to. The question was, why? I went back to the emails, searching for anything that might lead me to an answer. Most of the conversations were vague, stripped of details, but one email had an attachment, a forwarded receipt. It was a reservation confirmation under an alias I didn't recognize. I searched the name. Nothing. No social media, no public records. The name didn't exist. Emily had checked into a place under a fake identity. My stomach tightened as I scanned the details. The location wasn't listed, just a transaction ID. But there was a timestamp. She had booked this over a month ago. That meant she had been planning to leave long before last night. The pieces weren't fitting together. If Emily had been afraid, she never showed it. There were no signs of distress, no changes in her behavior, at least not that I had noticed. But now that I thought about it, there had been little things. The extra locks she had asked me to install on the doors. The way she started double-checking the baby monitor at night. How she suddenly stopped taking evening walks alone. Had I missed the warnings? I stood and moved to our bedroom closet. Emily's side looked untouched. Clothes still hanging, shoes neatly arranged. But something was missing. The safe. We kept a small locked safe under the closet shelf, tucked in the corner. Inside were documents, passports, birth certificates, a little cash. It had always been there. I had checked it just last week when I needed my insurance card. Now it was gone. Emily hadn't just left in the middle of the night. She had taken the one thing that would allow her to start over. I swallowed hard, turning back to my phone. Rachel and Megan had been evasive, but they weren't the only ones who might know something. There was one person who had always been close to Emily, someone she trusted completely. Her mother. I pulled up her number and hit call. The phone rang longer than I expected before she finally picked up. Sam. Her voice was hesitant. I got straight to the point. Where is she? A long silence followed. Too long. Then, a quiet sigh. I was afraid you'd call. My heart pounded. You know something. I can't tell you, Sam. I promised her. A chill ran through me. You promised her? She begged me not to say anything. She said it was for the best. I gripped the phone tighter. For the best for who? Another pause. Then, in a lower voice, almost reluctant, she said, for you, and the kids. I felt like the room had tilted. My own mother-in-law, someone who had always been on my side, was keeping Emily's secret. For my safety, I needed to know why. You have to tell me, I pressed. Is she in danger? A sharp inhale. Then the words that changed everything. Not anymore. A chill crawled up my spine. What do you mean? Her voice was barely above a whisper. She left so that you wouldn't be. I opened my mouth to respond, but the line went dead. For the first time since this all started, I wasn't just confused. I was afraid. The phone call replayed in my head like an echo I couldn't shake. She left so that you wouldn't be. I sat motionless, staring at my phone, my grip tightening around it. My mother-in-law wasn't just protecting Emily. She was protecting me. But from what? Or who? This wasn't just a case of a woman leaving her husband. It was something deeper, something hidden. Emily had taken the safe. She had changed her passwords. She had planned this for weeks. And yet, she had also left behind her phone, her ID, her credit cards, everything that could track her. If she had wanted a clean break, she would have told me. She would have fought for custody. She would have taken the kids. Instead, she left them with me, because she thought they were safer that way. My hands were shaking as I turned back to the tablet, searching through every remaining email, every last bit of information. And then, buried deep in the drafts folder, I found it. A phone number. No name, no message. Just a series of digits, unsent, unfinished. as if she had started to reach out but stopped herself. I hesitated for a moment before dialing it. The line rang 3 times before someone answered. A man's voice. Deep, calm, controlled. "You shouldn't have called this number." My breath hitched. "Who is this?" Silence. Then, "You're not supposed to be involved." The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. "Involved in what?" A pause. Then the man sighed. "Look, I don't have time for this. She's safe. That's all you need to know." I could hear the click of him ending the call before I could say another word. The room around me felt colder, smaller. I had no idea who that man was. But he knew Emily. And he knew she was safe. Which meant she wasn't just hiding. She was being protected. But from who? And why was I the one she left behind? A sickening thought settled in my chest. Emily wasn't running from me. She was running for me. And whoever she was afraid of, whoever had made her believe she had to disappear, was still out there. And they might be watching. The room suddenly felt too quiet. I turned toward the living room where Lily and Noah sat playing on the floor, unaware that our lives had just shifted in a way I couldn't yet comprehend. Emily had left because she thought we were in danger. Someone had helped her disappear. Someone else knew about it and didn't want me involved. Which meant someone was still watching. A sharp paranoia crept up my spine. I moved to the front window and pulled the curtain back, scanning the street. Nothing unusual, cars parked in their usual spots, the neighbor across the street watering his plants. But now everything felt off. Had that silver sedan always been parked there? Had the man on the corner been standing there that long? I was starting to see threats in every shadow. Taking a slow breath, I forced myself to think logically. If Emily was in hiding, that meant she was being chased. And if she thought I was safer staying here with the kids, it meant the danger was tied to her. I needed to retrace her steps, figure out what had changed in the last few weeks. I went back to her tablet, this time checking the calendar app. And that's when I saw it. A single appointment scheduled 3 weeks ago. Meeting for 30 p.m. No location. No details. I flipped to her call history again, nothing recent except normal, everyday numbers. Then an idea hit me. Emily always wrote things down. She kept a small planner in the kitchen drawer buried under the takeout menus and old receipts. I rummaged through the mess until I found it. Flipping through the pages, I saw notes about groceries, doctor's appointments for the kids, and then I found it. The same date as the meeting on her calendar. A single name was written next to it. J. Langley. My pulse quickened. I didn't recognize the name, and something about it felt important. Emily had written it down. She had scheduled a meeting with someone. And then, shortly after, she started acting differently. This was it. The moment something changed. I pulled out my phone and typed the name into a search engine. Dozens of results popped up, most were unhelpful. A few lawyers, some professors, a real estate agent. None of them seemed connected to Emily. Then I refined the search. J. Langley plus missing persons. A single news article appeared. And when I clicked on it, my entire body went cold. The headline read, "Whistleblower disappears under mysterious circumstances, FBI investigation ongoing." I scanned the article, my pulse racing. Jared Langley, a financial analyst, had uncovered illegal activity in a major corporation. He had gone to the authorities with the information, and then, just days later, he had vanished. The details were scarce, but the article mentioned one key fact. He had last been seen meeting with someone in a cafe. A woman. A woman whose identity had never been released. A woman who, according to the article, had also disappeared shortly after. I felt my stomach drop. Emily had met with this man. And then she had vanished. This wasn't a coincidence. I had just stumbled onto something much, much bigger than I had ever imagined. The article felt like a doorway into something I wasn't meant to see. My wife, Emily, had met with a man who had disappeared under mysterious circumstances, a whistleblower tied to an FBI investigation. And now she was gone too. I reread the article, my heart hammering. The corporation Jared Langley had been investigating wasn't named outright, but there were mentions of financial fraud, missing funds, and offshore accounts. The words federal investigation appeared more than once. Emily wasn't a journalist. She wasn't in finance. She had no reason to be involved with someone like Langley unless she had stumbled onto something by accident. Or worse, someone had pulled her in. I needed to think. I needed to act. I glanced at Lily and Noah playing, completely unaware of the storm unfolding around them. My instinct was to get them out of the house, but I still didn't know who I was up against. I grabbed my phone and searched for more recent updates on Langley. Nothing. It was as if he had been erased. The FBI. If Langley was tied to a federal case, that meant they had to be investigating his disappearance. Which meant I wasn't the only one looking for him. I hesitated, but then dialed the local FBI field office. A robotic voice guided me through an automated system until I reached an operator. Field office, how may I direct your call? I gripped the phone tighter. I need to speak to someone about Jared Langley. A brief silence. Sir, who am I speaking with? I hesitated. My name is Sam Carter. I think my wife might be connected to his disappearance. Another pause. A longer one. Then, hold, please. The line clicked and then I was left with silence. Not even hold music. I checked the time. 2 minutes. 3. 5. Then, a voice. This is Special Agent Monroe. Mr. Carter, I need you to stay on the line and answer very carefully. Why do you think your wife is involved with Jared Langley? I told him everything. The secret emails, the erased digital trail, the planned escape, and most importantly, the meeting Emily had scheduled with Langley just before she started acting differently. Agent Monroe listened without interrupting. When I finished, there was a long pause. Then he said, Mr. Carter, I need you to leave your house. Now. A chill ran through me. Why? I don't have time to explain over the phone. Pack a bag for you and your kids, go somewhere public, and stay there. I'll send someone to meet you. The urgency in his voice sent a bolt of adrenaline through me. This wasn't paranoia. This was real. I hung up and immediately grabbed the baby bag, stuffing it with diapers, snacks, and clothes. Lily looked up at me, confused. Daddy, where are we going? I forced a smile. Just a little trip, sweetheart. I lifted Noah into my arms, grabbed the car keys, and took one last look at the house. Something told me we wouldn't be coming back anytime soon. As I stepped outside, my skin prickled. The air felt wrong. The silver sedan that had been parked down the street earlier was gone, but a black SUV had taken its place. And the man inside wasn't watering any plants. He was watching me. My pulse pounded as I locked eyes with the man in the black SUV. He didn't move, no phone in his hand, no sign of pretending to be distracted. He wanted me to know he was watching. I tightened my grip on Noah and forced myself to act normal, walking quickly but steadily to the car. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to run, but I couldn't risk panicking the kids. I buckled Lily into her seat, my hands shaking. My mind raced. If the FBI was already telling me to leave, then whoever these people were, they were ahead of us. As I slid into the driver's seat, my phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number, don't go home again. You're in this now. Trust no one. I swallowed hard. Someone was helping me. But who? I started the engine, my heartbeat drowning out everything else. The SUV's engine roared to life at the same time. I pulled out, my eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. The black vehicle stayed put for a moment, then it slowly rolled forward. Following me. I took a deep breath, forcing my voice to stay steady. Lily, sweetheart, I need you to help me, okay? She nodded, sensing my seriousness. If I say duck, I need you to lean down and stay really quiet. Can you do that? Her little brow furrowed. Like hide and seek? Exactly like that. She grinned. I'm good at hiding. I forced a smile, trying to ignore the fear tightening around my throat. I know you are, baby. I pressed the gas pedal, keeping my speed even as I navigated toward the busiest part of town. If these people wanted something from me, I wasn't going to make it easy for them. The black SUV stayed in my mirror, never too close, never too far. Then my phone rang. The same unknown number. I hesitated before answering. Who is this? A voice came through, rushed and tense. Sam, listen to me. Do not go to the FBI. They're compromised. My grip tightened on the wheel. Who is this? I don't have time to explain. Emily didn't run from you, she ran for you. And if you don't listen, you and the kids won't be safe. I felt my stomach drop. You have to find her before they do, the voice continued. The same people who went after Langley, they think she knows something. Something she wasn't supposed to. I swallowed hard. Where is she? A long silence. Then, she left a trail. You just haven't seen it yet. The line went dead. I glanced at the rearview mirror again. The SUV was still there, patient and unhurried, like they already knew where I was going. But I had a choice. I could follow the plan, go to the FBI, hand everything over to Agent Monroe. Or I could do what Emily had done. Disappear. Find the trail she left. Find her. A slow, determined calm settled over me. I had always trusted that Emily was a careful woman. A planner. If she had left a way for me to find her, I would. And I would bring her home. I took the next turn, heading away from the city, away from the FBI. Away from the people hunting my wife. The chase had begun. And I wasn't about to lose.